Welcome back to Tower of God, regulars. Obviously, you can see that this isn't a normal episode. Well, you probably noticed from the title, but another hint should be that I'm straight at the beginning. But I will not beat around the bush. I think the Tower of God is a prison. This might either be the most obvious thing ever, or maybe I'm completely off track, but rereading the Icarus story made me think about it. Because one thing I noticed about Icarus is that I mostly got the story correct, but not all of it. I called it a story of pride and hubris, not to fly too high to the sun and the like, but that's not all of it. The story about Daedalus and Icarus is also a story about escaping. Daedalus and his son Icarus were at the time imprisoned on the island of Crete, where Daedalus built the labyrinth of the Minotaur. So yeah, that got me thinking about the whole story of Tower of God and how often the whole concept of being imprisoned and escaping this imprisonment, either like literally, I mean, at this point, it's basically a running gag that the bum's friends get captured and are being held hostage again, or how often they had to escape various situations. Not so much in the first season, but from the second season on, they had to escape, and escape again. Be it the workshop battle, be it the floor of death, be it the data floor, be it the name hunt station, and even helping other people escape, like sometimes literally is escape a particular floor or imprisonment, or like escape their fate. Most notably, of course, Kaiser being shackled uh, by her family. That was literally a title, a chapter title. And this is the point where I was. This is the point I was looking for. Ah, nice start, Rohal. So yeah, I think at this point they are literally beating us over the head with the whole theme of being imprisoned and escaping said imprisonment. And even in a more metaphysical uh, sense, we cannot forget that they basically don't use that plot point much anymore. But in every floor you come to, you have to make a pact with the administrator, follow the rules of the tower, so you can even use Shinzu. So you are at all. What I'm trying to say is you are at all times shackled to the rules of the tower, except irregulars. But we'll come to that later. And yeah, basically there is no escape. We have learned that you cannot even reach the top. Jard's palace is as far as you go up, and there you become a ranker, and that's it. You cannot escape. One point then I connected with that is, wait a minute, that's another connection to the Icarus story. What do you get when you become a ranker? The ability to fly. I'm not sure if that's a real point, but they told us a few times that being able to fly is something usually only rankers can do. Another connection to the Icarus story. Oof. So let me lay out the timeline as I see it. In the beginning, there was only the tower filled with the administrators, ancients, and the divine sea animals. I think it was meant to be a prison for the ancients. Maybe they also the sea animals, or maybe they are just the natural environment of the tower. And then Jahad and his companions discovered the tower from the outside. Whatever is on the outside, I cannot tell yet. Or at least I don't know yet. I'm not withholding my theory for that. They, of course, set out to conquer this amazing new discovery. to see what kind of powers, wealth, and other things they might find in there. And they got way too close to comfort for the administrators. Maybe they were even spooked by an administrator dying. I'm not sure where in the timeline the floor of death happened. Were Jahad and his people already at the top when that happened? Or, well, as far at the top as they are allowed to go. But for some reason, the administrators, or maybe head on, or maybe there's another god of the tower that is not head on. What's the opposite of head on? Like, yeah, read the other way around. No heart, no head. Maybe the god of the tower or the administrators got spooked and said, "Wait a second! You're destroying the tower here. We cannot allow that." And they made them a deal, namely that they can get everything they want. They can get immortality. They can get rulership over the tower. They can get everything. The the tower and the administrators basically capitulated under their might. But in exchange for all that, they had to stay and guard the tower as the new prison guards, because obviously they showed that some people, some species, might actually be able to reach the top, something that they never thought would or could actually happen. But Jahar did it, almost. But now he is just as shackled to the tower as everyone else, in exchange for basically giving up his irregular status, becoming a part of the tower, becoming a part of the well, prison system of the tower, becoming its warden and their guards. They get to rule it as they please. Where does all this connect then with the story of Icarus as Kuhn discovered it? I don't know. Has it something to do with V and Arlene? It is still unclear how Bum even got outside the tower. Maybe Icarus is meant to symbolize Bum? That would that would make sense. That Rachel also adopted the name Icarus as her persona because she's jealous of Bum. She's maybe jealous of the one who was able to escape the tower. But also, she also comes from the outside. She didn't need to escape. At this point, my theorizing kind of falls apart. Let me gather my thoughts for a second. Unfortunately, I am too lazy to write scripts, and I kind of don't want to. Again, I don't know if this is some Captain Obvious shit, or if I'm onto something, or am I completely off mark. But it would also then fit with Träumerei recognizing, wait, this irregular is so powerful that he might actually be useful as another guard of the tower. Because there are opposition forces that are as powerful as Jard and the uh, 10 family leaders. Urek Masno being the most prominent example. And yeah, now that I think about it, Urek's motivation is also to escape, not to rule the tower, not to do what Jahad and the family heads did. Hmm, I can't think of anything else to say. I think I made my point. Also, no, there's yet another point, uh, which would fit it with the whole prison guard theme. The the purpose of the floor of tests. The Hansung did say outright, or was it Hansung? Some of the teachers on the floor of tests did say outright that the purpose of the floor of tests isn't to beat all people who are too weak. It's to identify people who are too strong, people who can cause problems for the tower and its guards. This is a very carefully controlled environment where people are allowed to be strong only as long as they play within the rules, and everybody who doesn't, well, they are a threat. A threat to be either contained or eliminated, just as in a prison. Yeah. A bit of a shorter episode than today because, well, I cannot think of anything else to say about that. I am terrible at this. So, yeah, the next episode will probably come tomorrow or maybe tonight, evening. I don't know. I'm a bit sniffly today. But anyway, yeah, that's it. Tell me in the comments if I'm onto something. If there is anything you can tell without spoiling anything, of course. Or maybe there are this. Yeah. Anyway, until next time.